This is Clyde, and here we are together one more time. Today, I would like us to talk about a man from the Bible whom I really admire. His name is Moses, and let us give our conversation a title: I am a friend of God. I want to share with you two things from the Bible about Moses. In Exodus 33 and verse 11, the Lord would speak to Moses as one speaks to a friend. After Moses died, this was what was written about him in Deuteronomy 34, verse 10. Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. This man Moses had a very interesting life. He was born to parents who were slaves in Egypt, which meant that he was supposed to become a slave. In fact, he was not supposed to have grown up beyond being a baby because Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, had given an instruction that every male Hebrew baby should be killed. But instead, Moses was hidden by his mother, and as the story goes, Pharaoh's daughter found the baby. Moses was raised by his mother up until a certain age, and then Pharaoh's daughter took the baby, took the child, and raised him in the palace. Moses, a Hebrew child in Egypt, grew up as a member of Egypt's royal family. It doesn't get any better than that. In fact, it is suspected that Moses was begroomed to become the next Pharaoh. Anyway, as fate would have it, Moses had an encounter one day and he killed an Egyptian. And it wasn't a secret. So when Moses found out that someone knew, he ran away from his country, ran away from his royal life, ran away from his people, and went into exile, became an immigrant to a country called Midian. Fast forward, at age 80, Moses is out there working in the desert, and he had an encounter with God. God came and called Moses and gave him a huge assignment that I'm appointing you, Moses, to go back to Egypt and to lead my people out of slavery to the promised land. Moses did what God said. And the next 40 years of his life was interesting. Moses and God had regular conversations. They would meet up in the mountain over and over again. God gave Moses the 10 Commandments and all the laws, which afterwards became the constitution of the people of Israel. God gave Moses all the detailed instructions of their religious practices, which today many Jewish people still follow. God gave Moses instructions of how he should lead the people, how he should treat those who did wrong things. Moses was a judge, he was a leader, he was a religious instructor. Moses was highly revered by the people as he led them to the promised land. My friend, Moses was a guy who made mistakes. He did some wrong things. But isn't it interesting that he was described as someone who talked to God as a friend? As a friend? Well, one of the mistakes that Moses made robbed him of the privilege of entering into the promised land. God told him that I have to punish you. But even in the up to the end, God loved and respected Moses. That Moses did not die an ordinary death. Moses went up into the mountain one last time. God allowed him to look over and see the promised land. And while he was there, Moses died. And the Bible said that God buried Moses. And so now here it is. When the people had acknowledged and recognized that Moses died, and they mourned for many, many days. And in the end, it was said, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Moses was a friend of God. Are you a friend of God? Are you that person who knows God intimately, who spends time with God, who has face-to-face meetings with God, who does what God tells them to do? Are you a friend of God who you respect God, you serve God, you live for God? Are you a friend of God that if you should die, that's what people would say about you, that you were a friend of God? My friend, you and I are alive, and we have a chance to become that kind of friend, a real friend of God, where we have a great relationship with God, and others will recognize that I am, that you are a friend of God. Have a great day.